Tonight, if you fail at something, your stomach drops before you even open your mouth. You already know that feeling, but for 99% of human history, that exact feeling had a job to do. It kept you alive. 2 million years ago, a hunter walks home with empty hands. His group already knows before he says a word. And that moment shaped something that's still running in your body right now. Let's start with the hunt itself, because the hunt almost never worked. Anthropologist Kim Hill studied the Ache people in Paraguay for decades. Even their best hunters failed most days. Not occasionally. Most days. Skill barely predicted success. Luck did most of the work. So why did hunting become the most socially loaded act a person could do? It was never really about the meat. Anthropologist Kristen Hawkes called it the show-off hypothesis. Big kills got shared widely, even outside the hunter's own family. That makes no sense if hunting is just about feeding your kids. It makes perfect sense if hunting is a signal. Proof of your reliability. Proof you're worth keeping close. Every hunt was two things at once: a gamble for food and an audit of your worth. Picture the walk home. He tracks, he waits, he throws, he misses. Now he has to walk back into camp with nothing. Everyone sees his hands before he says a single word. Here's the strange part. Food was usually shared no matter who caught it. One bad day rarely meant starvation. So what was actually at stake? Reputation. In a group of 30 people you depend on for life, reputation is currency. It decides who helps you when you're sick, who picks you as a hunting partner next season. Psychologist Mark Leary called this the sociometer. Your self-esteem isn't really about you. It's a gauge, tracking how safe you are with everyone else, and it moves before you even know why. That hunter's internal alarm was already falling before he reached the fire. His body was bracing for a cost that hadn't even landed yet. Now here's the twist. Hunters who failed often weren't punished at all. Many foraging groups actively discouraged resentment toward bad luck. Some even mocked successful hunters on purpose, to stop pride from turning into hierarchy. Researchers call this insulting the meat. A hunter drags home a huge kill, and instead of praise, he gets teased. This scrawny thing? Barely worth carrying. It sounds harsh, but it's precise social engineering. The system wasn't built to shame failure. It was built to prevent success from creating power. Because a group with one dominant hunter is a group one bad season away from collapse. A group where everyone stays humble, stays equal, which means the dread that Hunter felt may have been bigger than the actual consequence waiting for him. Sound familiar? You feel like failing in front of people will cost you everything. Sometimes it does, but the fear usually runs hotter than the real penalty. Your ancestors evolved for a world where exclusion could kill you. You still carry that wiring. But you're not walking into a camp that decides if you eat this winter. You're walking into a group chat. Your brain can't tell the difference. It fires the same signal for a missed deadline as it would for real survival risk. Anthropologists call the food-sharing system here generalized reciprocity. Whoever has none gets some. No tally kept. Because luck decides so much of hunting, punishing bad luck would eventually punish everyone. The groups that forgave failure outlasted the ones that didn't. There's a physical reason the dread hits so hard. Researcher Naomi Eisenberger found something strange about social pain. The same brain region that processes physical injury also lights up during social rejection. Getting left out and getting hurt use the same old circuitry. Because for most of human history, they led to the same outcome. That's why failure doesn't just disappoint you. It hurts, literally. And it doesn't stop at the fire. That hunter replays every decision on the walk home. The moment he hesitated. The throw that landed short. This isn't weakness. It's rehearsal. Your mind trying to turn one failure into next time skill. But that system was built for rare, high-stakes failures. Not the failure rate of modern life. A message left on read. A pitch with no reply. Your sociometer was calibrated for a few big moments a month. Now it processes dozens a day. It doesn't know the volume changed. It just keeps firing. So why does your body still brace like exile is coming? Because evolution doesn't calibrate for accuracy. It calibrates for worst-case survival. A hunter who felt intense dread and never risked failure beat a hunter who felt calm and occasionally got cast out. Overreacting was cheap. Underreacting was fatal. Dread won. Even in a world mostly built to forgive him, you inherited the winning strategy, not the accurate one. Think about how often this plays out today. You send a message and get no reply for hours. Your mind doesn't wait calmly. It builds a case against you. Maybe they're angry. Maybe you said something wrong. Maybe you've already been quietly written off. None of that is happening. They're probably just busy, the same way you are most days when you leave someone on read. But the ancient alarm doesn't check probabilities. It just assumes the worst, because assuming the worst kept your ancestors alive. Look at your own life through this. The pitch that flopped. The relationship that ended. Underneath the specific shame is the same ancient current, whispering that your value just dropped, that people are deciding right now if you still belong. Almost none of them are. Most people are worried about their own hunt, their own empty hands. The verdict you're bracing for rarely comes. There's one more piece worth knowing. Kristen Hawkes' research suggests reputation was never based on a single day. One bad hunt rarely erased dozens of good ones. Standing wasn't measured at the door with empty hands. It was an average built slowly, forgiving of any single point. You're not being scored on today. You never were. You're being remembered across a pattern, just like it mostly didn't for him, sitting at the fire, eating food he didn't catch, surrounded by people who'd do the same for him next week. Because next week, the empty hands might be theirs. Tonight, if you fail at something, your stomach will drop before you even open your mouth to explain. But now you know what that drop actually is. Not judgment arriving. Just an old hunter, walking home in the dark, bracing for a world that mostly isn't there anymore.